I am Dracula. Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
Suffice it that the blood of 1,000 men and women was spilled within these walls. Limbs twisted and broken, eyes gouged from bloody sockets, flesh burned flat.
Please. We're the dead. In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no escapes. What you never realize is that we're all just a mouse that a cat has by the tail.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I need the CD up. Let me whisper that. All right. Okay, hey, welcome again to another
listeners.
World of the Unexplained. You're at the right bat channel, bat time. I'm your radio nightly shock jock, Jay Scott. I'm here with my co-host, Trent the Terminator Lackey.
Trent Lackey, the Terminator. That's kind of lame.
Yeah, it is. But tonight, we're going to be talking about the Bladenboro Vampire Beast.
We're also
among
going
other
to...
things. Yeah, that was cool, Matt. Matt, say hi.
Yes.
Hi. Matt is our pseudo engineer here for tonight.
Yes,
he came and fixed all these.
Very gifted. Solving problems left and right.
He is, yeah, and yeah, he came in tonight and he saw this because let me tell you, I've pushed every button on this board tonight earlier, and I had no idea what I was doing. And
We almost had a threat of blowing the board out.
I thought I'd blown the board up, and
Yeah.
I talked to him on the phone today, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, dude, I think I blew it up, and he's like, I don't know, man. I doubt it. Then we walked through all this stuff, and
Yeah.
then I called Jeff, and Jeff's like, well, I've never blown a board up. And for those of y'all that don't know, Jeff's my drummer, and he handles some major stuff.
Some
compared to
heavy
this.
metal.
Yeah, as does Matt, because Matt's our sound guy.
Yeah.
www.blackbookromance.com. There's a cheap little plug.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless, totally shameless.
But everything's...
We'll be playing in Winston-Salem this Friday night at Ziggy's, and we'll be playing in Rock Hill, South Carolina on Saturday night at The Money.
The Money.
The Money. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's supposedly a really, really big club. Anyway,
As in Show Me the...
Show Me the Money, Jerry
Right.
Maguire. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not.
Well, we just had a little background, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about what we've got. The cool new thing that we have right now tonight is we have this new. What did I just do? Okay. The cool new
Scott,
thing
it's
is,
not very professional.
I know
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not. The cool new thing that we've got here tonight is we've got this new little phone thing, because our old one really, really wasn't that great. We've got this new little phone thing here that Matt Briggs also configured. Yes, all hell Matt. And you can call us on the telephone, and you can talk to us tonight, and because we're not up on the AIM thing because I just didn't get around to doing that. But you can call us up on the telephone tonight, and you can ask us anything you want to. You can talk to us. We'll put you on the
Yep.
air, and it'll be cool. And that'll be, yeah. Go ahead, Trent. Talk.
Okay, well, tonight we have a pretty good program. As was mentioned on the website, we have a guest coming in next week, but this week we're going to Mark Hazelwood, right?
Mark Hazelwood.
He's coming in next week.
Yes, sir. Author of Blindsided and
yes.
the new book, Delicate Earth.
A very interesting and nice guy. Otherwise.
He's a really nice guy, actually.
But tonight, however, we're gonna bring in a little local color, I guess, and talk about a few legends and myths of our dear old Tar Heel state.
Our dear old Tar Heel state.
We're both natives of the state, so we have a couple interesting stories relating to a few of these things to bring in a little personal
we've got to talk
angle
about,
on it.
We've got to talk about the Old Salem experience.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, the four that we're running, the four that we're going to talk about, I guess we're going to start with the Bladenboro Vampire Beast. It's a really interesting and fairly obscure story. Next, I guess we're going to run on the Brown Mountain Lights, go from coast to mountains, and then after that, the Old Salem.
Old Salem, yeah, the Little Red Man,
and our own personal accounts there, and then you're not a proper radio host without cigarettes.
You can't do radio without cigarettes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just like
for all those people, I'm in we're in North Carolina here, and that's where smoking started.
Right.
It's a pastime here. When you're 4, if you don't got a cigarette in your mouth, it's over. Yeah, Matt's shaking his head back there in the back. Yeah, he knows, and he don't smoke.
Yeah, but I mean, he knows.
Yeah, that's why he was chastised all through life, because he doesn't smoke cigarettes.
Right. But anyway, and the last one we're going to do is a rather famous one, the Devil's Tramping Ground. Now, if you notice, none of these legends or myths really necessarily have to do with ghosts. We're thinking about maybe sometime running one just involving ghosts, but because it's such an extensive thing that we have. But well, I don't know. We thought about doing some sort of more folklore and legends, and I wonder if we should put a list on the website of things where we're getting this information from.
Do you have those web addresses, by the way?
Nah, I don't. But I mean, we can put them up there, right?
Well, yeah, we can put those up later.
Yeah.
And also, the great thing is tonight that we've gone a long way since last show. We're actually recording this. So this is going to be up on the archives. I've got it figured out now, I think. So this is going to be up on the archives.
We're not going to be speaking French the whole time?
No, not this time.
Okay.
So it'll be up on the archives for you guys that miss it, or if you guys really want to hear it again, it'll be up there. It'll be up there for you guys to check out probably tomorrow or the next couple days,
whenever you want, really. I mean, this is actually, I guess, our first co-anchored show. The rest of them were Jay Scott's World of the Unexplained.
Oh, it's our second co-anchored show.
Highgate,
show before.
The Highgate Vampire, which we'll run through again sometime.
Speaking of the Highgate Vampire, for those that were listening last week, the Highgate Vampire, Sean Manchester, I was looking this up, not that I think you might find this interesting. I was looking this up, and he hasn't given an interview since I think it was like 2002. Yeah, it's 2002. His last interview was with George Norrie. He took over the Art Bell show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the last interview that he did. And that was in 2002. So I think he's up for another phone call.
I think he should.
From Jay Scott and say, hey, baby, come on down, be on the show. You know you want to.
Oh, well.
He
may like us crude Yanks on this side of the pond,
Yeah, that's right. We did win the war. The Revolutionary one. Right. I know we're in North Carolina, but we did the Revolutionary War. That's the one we
Revolutionary War.
That's the one that we won. Now we're running probably at about a 2-minute delay for all you listeners out there. So when we do talk and we give you this new phone number that you can call us in on, it'll be a 2-minute delay.
Right,
So
it's just
go
something.
out of the. You know how they always tell you go out of the room when you're talking. Don't play your radio in the background.
You'll get confused.
Yeah, well, that's hell. I'll get confused. So
Yeah.
That's why we'll say, if you call in, please go into another room or turn your computer down, so you so you won't get all this craziness.
Give them the number.
The number is it's 336 area code 90910. Wait a minute, I don't want to call that other guy I called earlier today when I tried to call you. Yeah, let me. We're gonna make sure of this time. Okay, I think this is awful. Yeah, I talked to somebody earlier today. I don't know who he was, but I thought it was Trent. I'm like, Trent, where are you at, man? And he's like, who's this? And I'm like, it's me. And he's like, who's me? And I'm like, it was really bad. I didn't even know the guy. And yeah, so okay, the number.
Give him the number.
The number's 336-909-1073.
And the next week we'll give Scott's cell phone number out.
Yeah, that's right. Next week we'll give out mine. Yeah, because
it's basically a cell phone we'll run it through.
Yeah, because I'm not going to give you this number because we don't want all the freaky people calling my house at 3 a.m. They can call my cell phone at 3 a.m. I don't mind. Y'all can do that all day. I'm not saying you're freaky people.
No,
I'm just saying
gentle
some
listeners.
of the people that might listen,
kind and wonderful folks.
It is we do run a freaky show sometimes.
Well, we're involving in the paranormal and the strange, and I think we should get right to it. Actually,
yeah, we've had a little too much chit chat.
Yeah,
let's get to it. All right, the first thing. Oh, and by the way, if anybody knows anything about any of these things, feel free to call us up.
Absolutely, it'd be very.
Yeah,
we always love your input.
What do you want to talk about first?
Well, like I said, I mean the Bladenboro Vampire Beast.
Vampire Beast. That's spelled Bladenboro.
It's the name of the town where the occurrence came from.
And the show tonight is about North Carolina myths and legends. There's some ghost stories involved, but mostly it's
just physical phenomena, I guess. Anyway, Bladenboro is a really small farming community, very close to Wilmington. It's in Bladen County, and it's not the county seat. The county seat is Elizabethtown. That's basically where the paper's running out to, and we'll get to that in a minute. But apparently, in 1954,
was it 54?
I believe so.
Oh, you better check that fact. In the 1950s. No, I think it was in the, it was in the 50s.
No, it wasn't. It was 1950.
50 something or other. Anyway, he's going to tell us in a minute. He's looking it up. In the 1950s, what happened apparently was, in the town of Bladenboro, all of these dogs started dying. This animal, these people reported this large cat-like creature in the town, and what was happening was this creature was basically killing these dogs. But the really weird thing about the way it was killing, go ahead, tell them how
by
it was
exsanguination, basically
killing.
the removal
drank
of
their blood.
The removal of blood. Essentially, yes, it happened. I was right. I said 1954. That's
right.
when the paper article came out. Actually, the first occurrence came around in December 29th, 1953. So, right around now.
Right around what?
Right around now.
Right around now. It's
50,
January now. Yeah, 50 years ago. Basically. 52 years ago.
Yeah, 52 years ago.
Yeah, 51 years ago because December, January.
Right.
Yeah.
So, basically, it was the animal essentially drained the blood of some fox hunters' bloodhounds.
Yeah, and not just one. We're not talking about just one dog.
Multiple animal attacks.
Multiple, yeah. I mean, like we're what, 3 or 4 dogs. It got so bad that the people in Bladenboro actually started locking their doors at night, going inside, and not
bringing their animals in. And eventually, it got so bad that they decided to go and round up a posse and try to hunt it out. Now, if you don't know about North Carolina geography, about
North Carolina posses. Go ahead.
North Carolina geography, about east of Raleigh, all the way to the coast, it turns into sort of what's called the Sandhill region, and then it turns into a variety of swamps.
A lot of swamp, which reminded us.
Yeah,
we went on a trip to the Outer Banks, which is right outside Manio. Y'all guys know your history. You know the Indians, Manio, Wanches, all those boys. You know the Indians. You know the guys we stole the land from here. Yeah. Well, anyway.
They helped us, Sir Walter Raleigh, and
Well, we went down there. Me and Trent did. This was years ago. This is in the, I don't know, late 90s. Probably late 90s.
It's before I went to UNCG, I think.
Yeah, and we went down there. Yeah, before I went to Guilford, we went down there, and we on the way down there it was really foggy. That's when I had that old Porsche.
That was
the
fun.
Batmobile, man. It was black, sleek black.
Go ahead, Scott.
944. Oh, it was so sweet.
There was no air conditioning, and it was summertime.
POS, man. Yeah, it rained on us. It was awful. The top down.
That was rotten. But anyway,
so when we were riding down there, and we started seeing all these signs, and we're going down there pretty late at night, and we see all these signs on the way down there that says, watch out for bears. And I'm like, bears,
yeah.
And I'm like, Trent, did you see that? And you're like, oh yeah, man, there's a lot of bears down here. I'm like, okay.
Down the swamps.
So we keep going, and I'm looking for bears, right? Yeah, right. So we keep going down the road.
We're the only car on the road, by the way, and it's about midnight.
Late, man. It's like midnight or 2 in the morning, yeah. And we keep driving down the road, and the next thing we see is a sign that says, watch out for wolves.
Yeah, the red wolf had been reintroduced into the area a couple of years earlier to that. They once were indigenous, and they'd been hunted down to near extinction, and they basically took red wolves from the zoo and reintroduced the population back into the swamps.
You can imagine, how it is if you had a deer in the country, man. I can screw up your car, I can screw you up. Really, I mean, some real severe personal injuries,
Yeah.
And
just think of a bear.
Exactly. Think of a bear. And so we're looking around going, man.
They're black bears, by the way.
This ain't cool, man. There's a bear crossing.
Panthers.
That was the last one.
Which brings back to the whole thing.
Except for the sign that said, watch out for Bladenboro Vampire Beast.
No, we didn't. We didn't actually pass through Bladenboro. We passed through Tyrell and Dare County. But essentially, the geography is very much the same. It's
similar landscape.
It's swampy. It's marshy. There's lots of fog. It's very, very... very rural and wild. It's just honestly wild country outside of the small towns, and there's a lot of very small towns. They're quaint little places.
Well, there's your setting though. That gives you an idea of the kind of area, and it was very, very dense and foggy that night.
Yeah,
but you can imagine it was a very eerie drive as we're going through there. But it was all right. It turned out okay. But and it was a lot of fun. But we. After seeing that and then reading this story later and seeing that beast came out of that area, and we're talking maybe 2 or 3 counties up at that.
Yeah, essentially. The counties are pretty big, but I mean, there's a lot of
swampland, forest, trees, kind of just woodsy type areas.
Yeah.
So in 1954?
1953, 1954.
This is when this happened. So these people were locking their doors at night. They wouldn't come out. And this went on for a couple weeks period. What happened?
No, actually, this is the most bizarre thing of it. I mean, it honestly had
it made
only
the
lasted like a week or so. That's the most interesting
and
about
it just disappeared. But it made the headlines, and the sheriff was involved trying to hunt this beast down.
It says here in the book that we have that basically hunters came from all around the area to try to hunt the beast. You know.
Yeah, and that's why the sheriff's like, "Hey man, get out of my county. I don't want you guys shooting each other."
Yeah, because basically they might shoot each other.
Yeah. I don't need this in town. It's a little small town. They probably got like 2 deputies back then.
I'll tell you what. I looked it up. The town of Bladenboro right now in 2005 has a population of 1,700, something like that.
Wow.
So you can think of like 1953 or 1954, the kind of population.
10.
I mean, it's one of those. It's one of those literally those poke and plum towns
That says 4.
where you poke your head out the window and you're plumb out of town. You know.
Exactly, and you know everybody. Everybody knows it's Mayberry. It's worse than Mayberry.
Mayberry's
which is
nice
also
place.
in North Carolina. By the way.
Yeah, actually.
We're known for the Andy Griffith Show. That's great.
That was a good show, man. But anyway,
It was alright.
there were no Bladenboro Vampire Beast in the Andy Griffith Show.
Yeah,
But essentially, I mean, also in the book here,
tell them the name of the book in case they're interested.
this is an excellent book. It gives you a brief synopsis of a good deal of myths and legends of our old Tar Heel state, and it's called North Carolina Legends, and it's written by a guy by the name of Richard Walser. Walser. Richard Walser. The beast was a panther-like creature. It was a black panther-like creature. And of course, like we said before, when we're driving down the Outer Banks, I mean, it said watch out for panthers. So this creature may have been a local animal that had somehow
Well, that's the thing. It just disappeared after that. There's been no attack since. But the strange thing about it was the fact that it drained the blood out of you. They would find it, and it didn't eat the dogs at all, like a normal animal attack where you'd have the claws and maybe part of the
No,
carcass.
it would drain the blood.
It just drained the blood. That was it.
And this actually made the paper in Bladenboro. And I looked it up, and I actually emailed some people down there because obviously that's like a 4 or 5 hour drive to get to Bladenboro to look up the actual newspaper article. Maybe one day, for some crazy reason, I might take my girlfriend down to the Outer Banks and...
Your fiance.
Sorry, my fiance.
She's probably listening tonight. She's gonna beat you.
She is gonna beat me. Anyway,
that number again is 336-909-1073. Give us a call and let us know what you think about the Bladenboro Vampire Beast. Once again, 336-909-1073.
Now, the other thing I would like to say is, it's in the newspaper article, so they didn't email me anything back. I would love to get my hands on the 2 articles. Apparently, there are 2 articles written about this because it was such a short-lived phenomenon that it didn't really get a huge amount of, it got enough media attention for what it was. But basically, from some of my vague research, because other than the newspaper articles, I can't really get much else about it. But
these are old.
Yeah, that would be on like Microfiche or something like that. You remember?
Yeah.
And they haven't been uploaded to the actual Bladenboro
County website.
Yeah.
I don't think they keep things that old though. Even the New York Times site, I think, only goes back so far, and then you have to pay them for it.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen.
Make a buck nowadays.
Well,
See, we sell nothing, by the way. But one thing I do want to mention something real quick here. We've got some keychains. They're really cool. They say "World of the Unexplained" on it. We've got some with little mirrors on the back of them. Yeah, I know it sounds cheesy, but they're really cool. And
it's good for hunting vampires.
What we're gonna do tonight is the first 10 listeners that email us at worldoftheunexplained at gmail, as in Google, gmail.com. We're gonna give you one. We're just gonna send us your name and address.
Oh, there's a keychain.
And there's a keychain right
in your mailbox,
right to you. So that once again, just email us and ask for it. And that's worldoftheunexplained at gmail.com. If you forget that, you can go to the main page of the website and you can click on to contact us.
So back to the story. The second article that they had written, and I'm not sure, maybe it was just sort of a way of the writers at the time to sort of explain the short-lived nature of the phenomenon. They basically said that the beast apparently had been hit by a car. Although I have to imagine how in the world could they have determine that, oh, this is the Bladenboro Vampire Beast. If it's a panther-like creature and there are panthers living in the region, then how in the world would they, know? And of course, if it gets hit by a car, it's gonna be pretty bloody. So
definitely pretty bloody.
I just wonder. But I mean, I guess there's a reasonable explanation for the short-lived nature of the phenomenon and the hunters. And it was, it was a very, I don't know. What do you think about it, Scott?
I don't know what it is. Honestly, I have no idea. You hear. I don't know if you're familiar with the story. I think they made a movie about it years ago called Brotherhood of the Wolf, and I think it was loosely based on a story that they had actually in the 1700s or 1800s.
Yeah.
Or maybe 19. I don't even remember.
No, they were wearing the tri-corner hat, so it had
Okay, well, yeah, it was a long time ago, but
You
there was this werewolf beast that they were hunting. All the townsmen got together, and it had, reportedly did all this and that and the other, and it wasn't, it was kind of, everyone that seen it said basically, oh, it's a werewolf,
Yeah.
And that's kind of, that's what that movie was based off of, loosely. And Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Yeah, there was a twist to that film, though.
Yeah, it was, and it doesn't follow with the legend, but the legend, that was what the legend's about. Now, maybe there are these things. I don't know. When I first read the legend, I thought about the Mothman, and maybe, and then I started, oh, it's a cat. It's not. It doesn't fly. It doesn't stand up.
Well, the Mothman didn't drain the blood of victims or anything like that.
That's true.
It wasn't an aggressive predatory animal.
It's the Mothman, blood drinking Mothman Vampire Beast. Anyway, that's pretty much it on that. Let's move on. But once again, that number's 336-909-1073.
I was going to make one more reference to it.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm very fascinated with the subject. This particular story interests me a good deal, and it has for quite some time. But, there are these legends and myths, I guess, because they're not proven, the animals haven't been caught, of the legendary chupacabra, and
the goat sucker.
Yeah, the Caribbean, and basically it's a creature that also kills its victims by exsanguination.
Yeah.
Of course, the chupacabra is described completely differently. It's like a lizard-like insectoid creature,
So you have all these legends all over the world, where basically, we're talking about even from ancient day up to modern time. Well, modern, I think 1954 is pretty modern as far as legends go. And to be documented by a local newspaper, it's something that actually happened. It's not just some myth that was passed down by word of mouth.
No, it was
actually documented.
These are
physically, even right here in North Carolina.
I dare say they're not people to sort of spin out tall tales for no apparent reason.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they have things to do. There's no reason for them to. I mean, it's like a lot of stories I hear from, folks around who basically, they have workaday world, and they don't have time to mess around with crazy far-fetched tales,
What do you think about it, Matt?
I'm just a tech guy. I don't know.
He's just a tech guy.
He's just a tech guy.
And a great tech, the best
Excellent.
tech guy in the world.
Excellent.
Man. He got all this crap working today. I had all kinds of buttons pressed and I wasn't supposed to.
We just barely made it last week,
Hey, man,
and
yeah, I did the best I could.
I know, of course, man. Well, you guys are level 5 tech guys.
You guys, though. Yeah,
Matt's like a level 10 or something. You're like a level 2.
A level negative 12. But at least I got it hooked up and running.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I've got a mic cable for you that you can have. If you want. It's new.
Oh, yeah, that's the one that's torched.
Yeah, you'll have to fix it. I didn't say, hey man, nothing's free except our keychains. www.unexplained.com.
At Gmail.
Yeah, at Gmail. Yeah, at Gmail. The keychains are free. Send us your name and address, and we will send you a free keychain.
First 10 emails.
First 10. Yeah. Because we're keeping the rest. Okay. We don't have that many, actually. I think we got about 20 of them.
Really?
Right now. Yeah.
Okay, well,
So first 10, and we'll do that.
Very exciting.
Very exciting.
So anyway,
I
and
see we've got more people listening to us this week than last
that's
week.
cool, man. Well, hopefully they'll have some interesting...
Hopefully we won't run them off. Next week we've got Mark Hazelwood next Monday night from 10 to 12, the author of Delicate Earth and the author of... Blindsided. Yeah. Earth Changes 2003. Yeah. Obviously it didn't change in 2003.
Yeah.
But he's got an explanation for why that is.
Yeah, we want to hear it.
And yeah, we do want to hear it. And he's a great guest. He's a lot of fun. And I really want people to listen and give him some calls. Call him up and say, Mark, what's going on here? He'll be more than happy to talk to you guys. That'll be yet another technical difficulty issue we have, because then we have us and 2 separate phone lines that
A
we're
guy
trying to have
calling in
everybody
and-
hear each other and talk to each other. But that's okay because I got that new piece coming in.
Oh, we should be
It's
fine.
different from that, different hybrid. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. But be sure to listen for Mark because he's a great guest.
Yeah, and he's got
down
some
in
pretty
Florida right
interesting.
now.
He's got some pretty interesting things to say about the future of the planet Earth.
Oh yes.
But let's move on. You want to, Scott?
You know what I want to talk about?
Okay.
And we're gonna take a break here. We're gonna talk about it when we come back. We're gonna take a short little I don't know, 2-minute, 3-minute break, and then we're gonna come right back. And the only music I have, unfortunately, to play during this 2-minute break is this loop of Disturbed, that just the annoying wah ah ah da na 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 na.
Yeah,
part.
we'll work on some new
track
music.
2 there. Yeah, it's the second track. Yeah, you got to twist the. There we go. Yeah, and anyway, I'm gonna play that loop, and we're gonna take a break. And we'll be
2-minute
right
break.
back, and we're gonna talk about the lady at the bridge. This is really eerie story, guys. So check out the what's the name of it? What's it called?
What?
The lady at the bridge. What is
Oh,
it?
girl at the underpass or
Girl at
something?
the underpass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great story. Also really documented in the papers. We'll be right back, guys.
All right. Stay tuned.
And we're back.
That's right. We're here.
World of the Unexplained. We had to take a little quick break, PP time. No, I'm kidding. We didn't actually. Thank you so much, Matt. Matt Briggs is
Thanks
out.
a lot,
He's
Matt.
leaving the building.
Leaving the building.
That's
He
our
will
sound
return.
guy,
He will
yes.
return to help us with all of our
Another
technical
new piece of equipment there.
difficulties. The
All right.
Solidine.
There's the dogs. They're barking.
Yeah, they want to comment.
They want
Yeah.
to comment. Yeah. Okay, the number again is 336-909-1073. Come in. We'll put you right on the air with us, and we'll talk about what we're talking about, or if you have another something in mind there, tell us we suck. Tell us
We just
great.
finished talking about the Bladenboro Vampire Beast.
Bladenboro. I want to say Berg every time. Bladenboro Vampire Beast. Yeah.
Bladenboro.
And what I want to talk about now is the underpass lady, the lady of the underpass. Basically, this occurred in Jamestown, North Carolina. For those of you not very familiar with North Carolina, Jamestown is very, very close to Greensboro, one of the bigger cities of the Triad area, which is about northwest middle of the state, kind of.
Yeah, basically.
And that's where we're broadcasting from, actually. Well, near Greensboro. We're about 20 miles from Greensboro. We're in Kernersville, North Carolina. Really small town. It's called
A little bit bigger than Bladenboro, though.
K Vegas. Yeah, K Vegas. So. All right. But anyway, what we're doing now is we just talked about the Bladenboro Vampire Beast. And like I said, once again, that number is 336-909-1073. Call us up and let us know what you think. We're going to Jamestown, North Carolina. Girl at the Underpass. This is a story that I found very, very fascinating. It used to scare the absolute bejeebies out of me when I was a kid.
That's a
And
pretty creepy story, you know.
I know something about this that's not in the book. I'm going to tell it here in a little bit. But anyway, go ahead and tell the basic premise of the story.
Okay, essentially, and
And this was in the paper years ago, too.
Yeah,
Because this happened to somebody very, very recently, probably in the 90s, I think. This actually happened to somebody. And apparently this phenomenon happens. It occurs every year on this day.
on this particular day.
Yeah. Go ahead. Or maybe it was the 80s. I think it was the 80s.
This is before the interstate highways came around, and North Carolina was still connected by a series of, sort of smaller, highways, two-laners. This guy was leaving Greensboro and heading towards Lexington. That would be to his south and west.
That's about how many miles do you think that is? Maybe 30 miles
From
away?
Lexington to Greensboro? Yeah, something like
Maybe
that.
30 miles. 30 mile drive.
Anyway.
What year was it? This one, or is there a year mentioned?
In the book there isn't, but
Okay.
I want to say,
The original story probably in the 70s, maybe?
yeah, probably.
60s or 70s.
Yeah. Anyway, but east of Jamestown, the road connecting Greensboro and Lexington, now it's 85.
Yeah, it's an interstate highway now.
But I guess you could still. Nah, actually, I don't know if you can pass through this particular section.
I'm going to tell you something about this.
Okay,
here.
well, anyway.
Tell the story.
All right, so there's it goes through a tunnel under the train tracks, and
A very creepy looking one, I might add.
yeah, there's a picture of it somewhere. I saw it online.
Yeah.
Anyway, and it was a foggy night, early summer, and he drove through the underpass, and it was a fairly dangerous stretch of road. He slowed down, taking the curve, and lo and behold,
a beautiful woman standing
beautiful
there
woman.
in distress, a damsel in distress.
Her hands raised, wanting to basically hitch
She
a
needed
ride.
help. Yeah, she needed
This is
help.
a foggy night, and this section of the area was still pretty underdeveloped. So, you know, he was a gentlemanly sort of fellow, and you know, he decided to take her on. And
He asked her what was wrong, and
he asked if he could help her, and she says, "I need to go home. I live in High Point." Now, if you don't know, High Point is a little bit to the west.
yeah, it's close to Jamestown. There,
It's close to Jamestown, but
And
it's a little bit out of the way. It's not towards Lexington.
Yeah, it's a little out of his way, but you
Anyway.
know, hot chick, she's alone, she needs help. This
Yeah.
guy's driving the car. He's thinking, well, we're not going to go
Scott.
into what he's thinking.
Maybe he was a.
He's a nice guy,
yeah.
you know, good Samaritan. He's going to pick
Right.
her up and take her home.
So he opens the door, and she gets in, and now they're driving late
Wait,
at
well,
night.
he asked her what was wrong, and she told
Yeah.
him, you know, she was apparently at a dance and she had a fight with her boyfriend.
Yeah, she needs to go home.
And
yeah,
so
yeah,
he
that's
made
right.
her, yeah, he made her drop her off, and she needed to go home. So he's taking her home, and he's trying to have this conversation with her the entire time they're going down the road, and she ain't saying nothing to him.
No, except for of course that. So yeah, just silence. And then of course they were in High Point, and then she says, "Take a left." She says, "I live 3 doors on the right." And so he followed her directions to a T. The house was dark. He parked the car, got out of the car, went to open the door. There was no one there.
Went to open the door. See, a gentlemanly guy. Yeah. No
That's
one
what
there.
I'm saying. She was sitting in the car when he parked the car. He got out of his car, walked around the front, opened the door.
Nobody in the
nothing.
car.
Absolutely nothing.
And this story has been told over and over and over again. You know, and you want to sometimes you want to question the veracity of it, but you know, I've heard it so much and I've seen it in the papers. You know, I think it's definitely a phenomenon because then the guy goes to the door, and this is the
Right.
best part of the story. He goes
Right,
to
this
the door,
explains
Yeah.
most of it.
and he knocks on the door
And
a couple times, and then finally a light comes on, and
older lady opens the door, and he says, "I brought a girl to this house, but now I can't find her. Where did she go?" And I just picked her up out on the highway, and the lady asked where, and he says, "Over the Jamestown underpass." And she told me she'd been to a dance, and she was on her way home. And the lady sort of looks sad and says, "Yeah, I know. That was my daughter. She was killed in a wreck at the tunnel 5 years ago this very night. Every year since, on this very night, she signals somebody to pick her up. And she's still trying to get home."
yeah, it's creepy.
And that's pretty much, I don't know what I would do in a situation like that. I think I would cut up the radio and probably put on my inside light. Probably sell the car too. You know?
yeah, that's just creepy. But the
So
thing,
that's basically the story about the beautiful hitchhiker trying to get home and nothing.
well, the story I was gonna tell, and this has been pointed when I was a kid. You know, this was pointed out to me when I was a kid. You know, by my father, and you know, everybody knows this story around this area of the world because we're probably maybe 30 miles if that from Jamestown where we're sitting
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
a pretty famous ghost
So
story.
it's a very, very famous ghost story in this area. Well, you know, my dad would take me by and he's like, "Oh, here's the underpass," and we pass under, and it's got a lot of spray paint and graffiti on it now,
Mm-hmm.
and that's mistakenly. That is the underpass everyone think it is. It's right up there by GTCC.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is.
That's the underpass everybody thought it was.
That's not where it
it's
is.
It's not. That's not where it is. It's actually back in the woods. It was cut off years ago, man. It's overgrown with vines. The road don't even pass through there anymore. That's where it's at. So for those of you guys that living in this area or know the tell, you know, what you're seeing there is actually not what was actually
Yeah.
that underpass. It is way back in the woods. And it's overgrown now. The road was cut off, and I don't know why the road was cut off. Maybe 85.
Because of,
I don't know. Maybe because of that. I mean, maybe that had something to do with it.
Maybe it's just had such a bad reputation, you know. But it's a very famous story, you know. But here's the thing, man.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my friends tonight over in Greensboro, and he grew up in Arkansas.
Okay.
And he says
There's a tale like
there's
that
a tale
in
like
Arkansas,
that
too.
in
Oh,
Arkansas.
Man. Don't spoil my fun tonight.
But you know, the thing is, I mean, it's just like how these things go. I mean, there's actually an original story, and then other people think it's such a great story, they want to generate it, you know.
And more, it's just weaved and fabricated to match that local area.
Right.
Just an urban legend, maybe.
It becomes an urban legend. But I mean, as North Carolinians, I really am fairly completely 100% convinced that our tale is the...
Well, see, that's what I want to know. I want to know if
Legit.
anybody out there listening knows. They can email us. They can call. I'd rather them call us because we've got this new equipment.
We want to test it out,
We want to
guys.
test it out. Number again.
Give us a call.
It's 336 is the area code. 336-909-1073. Call us up on the phone line. If you got a cell phone, I know your minutes are free. Anyway, so call us up. And if your minutes aren't free at 10:41 at night, you have got a
Need a
really
new plan.
crappy cell phone company. All right, but call us up 336-909-1073 and tell us, because we want to know in your state, because I know we've got people from California listening and all over the place. But does your state have a legend like this that you know about? That's what I want to know. Does your state have a legend like this? Or if you're not from that state or from another state other than North Carolina and you've heard this, or if you've heard the North Carolina legend before and want to comment on it, we want to know that, because I mean, if everyone else has this same urban legend, maybe we can dismiss it as an urban legend. Maybe it's not, but all legends are generally based in some sort of fact.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that maybe this occurrence happened somewhere, and it sort of spread around.
Yeah, maybe it did. Now, if you do call in, just keep in mind that
There's
are
a
on a
2-minute delay,
or minute and a half, 2 minutes, something like that. So leave the room that you're in and talk to us on the phone.
Yeah.
That way you won't confuse us. Hear ourselves back in the background. Oh my God!
I don't understand. I'm hearing myself twice. It's too creepy for us.
It's too creepy for us.
But
and we've already confirmed as of last week that I'm a total wuss when it comes to anything paranormal. As far as I'll talk about it and I'll go out to these little ghost hunts, but. I don't want to.
He really doesn't want to see anything. But one night, Scott, we did.
Yes, we did.
But we'll get to that.
We're going to get to that in a little bit. First of all, we're going to talk about the Brown Mountain Lights in North Carolina. Very, very famous.
From the coast to the Triad to the mountains, North Carolina has it all.
And we're going to come back to the Triad in just a little bit to tell our story.
Yep.
But first, the Brown Mountain Lights. I'm going to give some background on this. We know a guy on Lemur Team. He's a ghost hunter group. Lemur Team, I think it might be lemur.com. It's LEMUR.
Like the Madagascar nocturnal animal with the big eyes that hunts worms with his long fingers.
It's an acronym, though. It stands for something like...
Well, the Madagascars, they believe the lemur is sort of a spiritual creature anyway.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they think it's the voice of dead spirits who weren't properly respected.
Oh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
This man knows the most crazy stuff, by the way. Trent has, the knowledge. I mean, you can give this guy a geography map and he can tell you all that. He can draw it by hand. I mean,
one time I drew a map of Africa, at a bar to impress some chicks. It didn't really work too well, but, I thought it was cool.
I said something crude and obnoxious, and,
it totally ruined the moment,
I'm kidding.
Brown Mountain Lights.
Brown Mountain Lights. Now, this is in the mountains of North Carolina. It is...
Burke County, I think.
It is... I don't know what county it is. I don't see it.
I want to say it's in Burke County.
Well, anyway, I know it's you can see it from Linville or Wise Man's Gap.
Yeah, that's up. You can get on the Parkway, I think, actually, in the Blue Ridge Parkway.
And what it is you see it from a faraway distance, and you see all these lights bobbing and flickering on and off all over the mountain, and no one's up there, and no one can explain it. We've got some theories that Lemur Team's proposed. And also, I know your mother had mentioned before that.
Yeah, she did. Actually, I mentioned talking about this to her, and she's all wise in folklore and stuff.
His mom knows a lot of ancient stuff, but folklore wise.
But she okay, go. You tell the story. I'm sorry.
The story that's behind it. There's got a couple different versions of it. One of them is about a girl that lived on a mountain with her father, and she had a boyfriend, and he used to come and see her every night, and.
Back in the 19th century, probably.
It's back in the day.
1800s when...
And they were going to get married one evening, and so when they were going to get married, she lit a pine torch, it says, and went out to welcome him. Well, he never came. And so from then on at sunset, she raised her flaming torch and darted from here to there on the mountain, hoping to come upon
Looking for her lost love.
That's right. And her death, after her death, the light of her torch could still be seen on stormy nights. Ooh. Yeah, that's one of the stories.
Yeah, there's...
Another story concerns a guy named Jim who was supposedly really wicked. He had a really sweet wife named Belinda, and they were going to have a kid. And he was courting this other girl, actually, which is kind of messed up.
Sign of his hatefulness,
Yeah, and then he used to, just verbally abuse his wife all the time and everything. And well, one day the neighbors noticed, hey, where's Belinda, your wife, at? We hadn't seen her around in a while. Well, he told her she went to visit her kinfolk, and well, the neighbors were really suspicious, and then later they discovered some blood stains on the floor of the mountain cabin they lived in, and those suspicions were even stranger because later they found a stranger driving away with Jim's horse and wagon, and they believed that the stranger had basically helped Jim kill his wife Belinda and bury her, and that was maybe his payment to him. And soon after that, after her death, that's when the lights started appearing, bobbing up and down, seemingly to guide searchers looking for Belinda.
They found the bodies, didn't they? Or
No, not well. It doesn't say that here, and I've never heard anything about it. But scientists have tried to determine that Josh is a great. He's probably one of the best minds I know as far as knowing without a formal education. I mean, he could teach university classes, science classes. I mean, he really knows his stuff. It's a true paranormal researcher,
a true self-taught man,
a true self-taught scientist, and everything he does in the paranormal realm is very, very, very scientific. That's Lemur Team. I think you could probably find those guys if you did a Google search. It's LEMUR, and it's an acronym L.E. You know what I'm talking about. But Joshua P. Warren. You might want to just pop that in the search engine too. You can probably find his website for the Lemur Team.
2 R's
Great
or 1?
Guys.
Two
Two
R's.
R's. Yeah. Warren, like Lorraine Warren, same last name. No relation.
Yeah.
I ask. But go ahead and tell.
Oh, yeah. Anyway,
this is what Josh thinks happened, and this is also what Trent's mother believes.
well, basically,
what these lights are caused by.
my mom lived in Iredell County, southern Iredell County, on a farm
Let's kind of give them a geographic idea of where that's at.
near the town of Troutman, which I just discovered has a haunted cemetery not too long ago. In our searching for North Carolina myths and legends, of course, I couldn't find anything more specific about it, but apparently she told me a very interesting story that's kind of out of the scope of this.
Oh.
But anyway, there would be a field close to their house, and it would have sort of this eerie greenish glow. Not the whole field, but different spots in the field. And of course, the old timers called these mysterious lights foxfire. It probably has something to do with the fox hunters, because they would be out really late at night hunting foxes.
I can imagine what you would see in rural North Carolina late at night with foxes hunting things. Yeah.
All kinds of eerie glowing green lights. And I guess some people would be very superstitious, but my grandfather was a pretty learned man, and basically, he would take them out there and say, now this is foxfire, and you'd walk right up to the glowing lights and you would just step on it, and they would go out. And essentially what the foxfire,
that's gotta be crazy as a kid, man.
Oh yeah, I mean,
this glowing light in the
it's like a
ground,
greenish, yellowish tinted light. Basically, what foxfire is naturally occurring phosphorus, which basically, I don't know if you know much about it. It ignites when it not ignites. I'm sorry. When it gets exposed to oxygen, a chemical reaction occurs, and it basically creates this glow.
Phosphorus does ignite, actually. It burns. It's our light
So I mean, this naturally forming, yeah, that's true. The naturally forming phosphorus in the ground would sort of create this kind of eerie, glowing green light. So of course, you amplify that and you step away from it. If you could see that same field like a mile off, you would see what apparently looks to be bobbing green lights, not unlike the lights that you would see on Brown Mountain. And this is where Mr. Warren says, what, Scott?
This is where Mr. Warren, that's what he says it is.
It's phosphorus.
He thinks that, he thinks it's trapped in the bed of the rock, and that's what's causing these lights to happen. At least
but the point is, I mean, that could be.
He believes that's the scientific explanation for the whole thing.
And, the fact that there are multiple varying stories. I guess if there was one continuous thread of a story that happened on Brown Mountain, but apparently, according even to that book, there are like 2 different tales of things that happen that cause these lights to show up. I mean, makes you kind of wonder, if they're just kind of searching for an explanation for the mystery
thing. Yeah, that's right there on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, we're looking at something else. We're looking to see how many of you people are actually listening to us. That's what we're looking at. We lost 2. Oh my God. We've got.
I guess we're. One exciting. We need to tell more exciting stories.
Yeah, more exciting. Give us a call, man.
Do it.
Phone line's up 336-909-1073. I don't care if I know you. I don't care if he knows you. I don't care. Call us up. We don't care who it is. Call us up. Give us a call. We'll throw you out here on the radio with us on internet radio.
Internet radio.
Yeah.
Wave of the future.
All right, next up. Well, and do you have anything else to say?
Nothing much. I mean, I would actually. I mean, to be honest with you, I would actually like to be on Brown Mountain when these things are going on. Now, maybe that might be the dumbest thing I've ever done. You know, it's very possible. Maybe I'll find out it's a bunch of glowing, iridescent, severed heads floating around.
I don't know, man.
Floating around, you know, green
I'll watch
glowing
from Linville. I'll
skulls and-
camera.
I'll use a walkie-talkie.
Hey, man, what's going on over there?
Scott, I'm freaking out, man. These are glowing
Glad
green.
I'm over here.
Glowing green severed heads floating around me. I need to get off this mountain because I'm scared. Or it could be phosphorus, or gas, or natural gas deposits. There's all sorts of.
It's kind of like the thing with the orbs. I mean, you've seen the orbs. I've seen the orbs. We've seen them move on videotape, and you can't see them with the naked eye. What are they? They obviously peak the meters, the electromagnetic field meters.
That's true, they do.
And you don't know. The common explanation out there in the paranormal community right now is that they're spirits. Well, I don't know if I buy that. There's a lot of them and they're everywhere. Yeah, and so what? They do tend to congregate around graveyards and creepy places. But I mean, you find them everywhere, and I don't know what they are. But I'm sure. I think personally, and I could be wrong. I'm just guessing like everybody else, but I think personally that it's just some kind of force that's on this earth that we don't know much about. We don't know enough scientifically to to put a point out and say well, this orb is caused naturally occurring by X.
Well, that's
I
true.
don't know.
Or it could be the lingering remnants of very strong-willed individuals with a very powerful electromagnetic.
We've got a call. Oh my God, it's Eric. Holy crap.
Let's hear it.
And you're on, Eric. How's it going?
Oh, well, pretty good. I understand that you were having a discussion about North Carolina things.
Yeah.
Yes, North Carolina folklore.
Now,
That's right, Eric.
Are you in Washington, D.C. right now?
Yes, just outside of, I'm in Alexandria, just outside of Washington.
Okay, cool.
That's awesome.
Where, believe it or not, there's a lot of ghost lore and things here. In fact, they have a ghost tour here in Alexandria. I haven't taken it yet. But,
Oh, okay. Well, it's an old place, full of history,
Now, for those of you guys listening, Eric's a really good friend of ours, and he knows Josh. Actually, he knows Joshua better than any of us.
Right.
He introduced us to him, and Eric's been out on a lot of these things with him. I've only been out on a few, but Eric's been out on a lot of these things, and Eric's actually even been on the was it Discovery Channel?
That's true.
Travel Channel.
it was the Travel Channel.
It was the Travel Channel.
Yeah, and Josh is on with Discovery Channel, and he's been on a couple different programs too, with ghost hunting. And
Like I said, he's the real deal, man. So, Eric, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I didn't know if you guys had talked about all the different theories around Brown Mountain or not.
yeah, we were just talking about that actually.
Yeah, we just ran through a couple. I mean,
Did you mention the? I know that Joshua had. They believe they've actually recreated.
Hey, we've got another call. Can you hang on a second, Eric?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Did I just hit this button?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, you're on the air.
Hey guys, it's Zarella.
Hey, Zarella, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Great. Hey, we've got 2 phone calls now already.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're chatting it up with my buddy Eric, who's actually the lemur specialist guy. Actually, he knows him really well. How's things going?
Yeah.
Well, you're in Kansas, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought. Tornado Alley.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. What do you think of the show so far?
Oh, it's great. I was just the reason I called was because you were talking about orbs.
Yeah.
And I got this really cool book that the author sent me called Spirit Orb Phenomena, Fact or Fiction.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tiny little book. I mean, well, it's not huge, but it's got color photos in it.
Okay.
And it's the only book that I've seen that really, tackles the whole orb thing completely. And he sent it to me because he wanted me to review it on my show.
Oh, by the way, fullmoonradio.com.
Fullmoonradio.com.
That's a link on our site too.
Yeah.
For those of you listening.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Can you call us back in like 3 minutes?
Oh yeah.
Or actually, can you make it 10? I don't want Eric to go away. But can you call us
Oh,
back
sorry.
in 10 minutes? No, he's on the other line. We're working this stuff out as we speak. But we're finally getting stuff working.
Yeah, we're
I'm
testing
gonna
our new
tell you-
equipment.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you about this piece too. It's really great. But
Okay.
all right, call us back in 10. Thank you
Okay,
so
bye.
much.
Thanks, Zorella.
Eric, you're still with us?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that. That was Zorella. She was calling. I don't know if you're listening. I think we're on a 2-minute delay over there anyway.
Yeah.
She's going to call us back.
Yeah.
So Brown Mountain, we had talked to Erica about the only really standing theory that we had actually mentioned was the fact of naturally occurring phosphorus, which my mom had talked about, and also
Wasn't that Joshua Warren's
Joshua
theory on
Warren.
that?
The guys have actually, at least when last time talked with Joshua about this, he said that they have actually recreated what they believe to be the phenomena in the lab, I guess.
Oh, they've recreated it in the lab.
Oh, excellent.
And something that a lot of people may not know about Brown Mountain is that it's made up of primarily quartz, I guess, is what the mountain is comprised of. And there are a lot of faults in the region over there in that part of North Carolina. So what happens with quartz when you apply a lot of pressure is it can give off an electrical charge, which can cause a form of plasma or ball lightning. And they think that...
Yeah, the mysterious ball lightning.
Yeah,
phenomenon.
Phosphorus ball lightning. Like a lot of
Go ahead,
Sorry,
Eric.
keep going. Yeah.
So, well, yes, I guess so. That's the main gist of it. One of the times that I was over there with Joshua and the Lemur team, we actually had with us a guy from the U.S. Geological Survey, and he worked at the Oak Ridge Laboratory as well. Over in Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Yeah, the birthplace of the bomb.
Yes.
Was it really the
Well,
birthplace of
Yeah, that's where the
that's where they started development. And then
Yeah, the actual
Los Alamos.
Los Alamos.
See, lawyers don't know everything.
That's cool. So you got the big guns, proper scientists and everything.
Well, they had this guy. They had two different guys there. I can't remember where the other guy was from now, but the guy from the U.S. Geological Survey had actually been out to Brown Mountain, I guess, both of the times when the U.S. GS they had conducted several different experiments out there at Brown Mountain to try to figure out what was causing that phenomena to occur. Of course, there's always the theory that it was train headlights or whatever that somehow.
Yeah, you get that one a lot.
Problem with that or the car headlight theory is that the Brown Mountain Lights, of course, have been seen
Before
well before cars or trains existed.
Right.
The Indians reported seeing that phenomena. So.
Hey, I tried to call you, man, not too long ago, and we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But I'll call you later tonight.
So,
when the show goes on.
so then what were
I've been meaning to get a hold of you again.
So basically quartz forming an electrical charge, creating some kind of variant of ball lightning. Is that what the
when the quartz is compressed?
when it's
put under
compressed,
pressure.
put under pressure? That's
kind of like how coal, when you apply lots and lots of pressure,
Comes
over
creates
time,
diamond,
it'll
yeah.
turn into a diamond. Exactly.
Well, what do they think's causing the compression though? Is it on a fault line or is it?
I believe so. I think that's what their
Theory is.
surprising. Yeah, that because there are so many faults. I mean, I don't know how many. I just have been told there are several fault lines in that part of the mountains of North Carolina. So. And I guess like this guy from the U.S. Geological Survey, told us that one of the things they had found out about Brown Mountain is that it was, primarily comprised of quartz. I mean, there's other stuff, there, but that's the thing when you go, if you go to Brown Mountain and camp out on it like we did several times.
I remember.
Walking around, you will actually see pieces of quartz everywhere. So I mean,
that's a great theory, and they've actually recreated this in the lab.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I haven't seen their test, but that is what was reported to me, or told me, firsthand by Joshua, is that they.
Do you know what his website is? His website address?
Yeah, Joshua Warren's website.
It's I think you can. I mean, they have so many websites now, but the one that probably is the most accessible is lemurteam.com.
That's LEMUR team.com.
That's correct. And then from
Excellent.
there, you can link to. I know another. At least as last time I checked, they still had the domain name brownmountainlights.com. As
Oh,
well.
okay.
So basically,
brownmountainlights.com.
a little more thorough
Yeah.
discussion of the subject that we're talking about now.
Hey, did you listen to us last week by chance?
No, I didn't know you guys were on last week.
Okay.
That's
Well,
okay.
We were. That's okay. It's a lot better this week. Trust
Yeah,
me. You didn't miss
we've got it.
anything.
Not saying last show was bad. I mean, it was a very good show, very
It was a good
interesting.
show, yeah. It was the first show.
So,
and we don't have an archive of it because I'm just trying to learn to use all this equipment now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of it anyway.
but that's basically the probably dominant theory of the explanation of these lights. Then,
Well, Eric, I hate to cut you off, man, but
Sure.
we've got another caller that's going to call us back here in just a little bit.
yep,
we're gonna
and we
talk
have a few
about,
more things to talk about.
Yeah, we've got a few more things to talk about. But man, I'm going to call you. Are you going to be up late tonight?
Oh, probably.
All right,
I'm
cool.
going to give you a call. The show goes off at midnight. I'll give you a call later, and we'll talk. That was Eric Scott once
Eric
again.
Scott, thanks a lot, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Sure, no problem.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Oh, that
well,
worked.
we know the little
our,
phone thing
our
works out.
technology
is
And now we're awaiting Zarella again to call us back. Zarella,
I don't know if we should.
Zarella was on here for those of you that was listening last week. She was our guest last week.
Yep.
She runs an
interview.
internet paranormal internet talk radio show. It's
Full
a great
Moon-
show too.
fullmoonradio.com.
And it's on her link on our website. It's also in a revolving banner underneath underneath our main page.
I don't know if we should go on to the next subject or not.
Well, she'll call in and we'll just take it from there.
Okay. Well.
Well, you know, it's almost break time actually. Yeah, it's 2 minutes past the break.
Oh, okay.
Every 30. So we're gonna get up and stretch our bones a little bit. But
We're gonna come back and what we're gonna talk about.
When we come back, if Zarella's on the phone with us, that'd be great. If Zarella's not on the phone with us, we're gonna talk about Old Salem.
Old Salem.
Yeah. Sounds good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, guys. Well, we will. You've got to hit play there. Yeah.
Push the button in.
Push the button in. See. Notice how technically sophisticated we are tonight.
Do I have to back it up?
Nah, hang on. I'll do it. All right, but like I said, what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back and that's what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about the wonderful things going on in Old Salem
and the old Tar Heel State.
That's right.
We'll be back in just a few.
And we're back. World of the Unexplained. And we've got another caller. She just called in earlier. You heard her last week. It's Zarella from Full Moon Radio.
That's right, Zarella.
FullMoonRadio.com. Zarella, you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool.
Great. You started worrying me there. I heard that pause. I'm like, oh God, what happened? Yeah, okay.
Things are working too
I feel
good.
like I'm on Broadway or something. You heard her last week.
That's right.
That's right.
Oh wow, look, we just jumped another like 3 listeners just like that. I don't know. Wow. That's crazy.
Aaron's supposed to know that.
Yeah, well, they can if they get the Shoutcast site, they'll see exactly how many listeners we have. Yeah.
Anyway,
so Shoutcast is finally up and working. Let me tell you, that was a nightmare.
Yeah.
That was a nightmare. But so you were talking about orbs, and you were talking about a book you were going to review for your radio show.
What was the name of the? Who wrote that book, Zarella?
Hold on a second. Let me see.
Up, she's searching.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
I'm looking for it.
hey, this guy should be paying you. You know, you're giving a promo here.
Yes, Anthony Kevin Sercombe.
Anthony Kevin Zerkholm. Okay.
How do you spell that last name?
Sercombe.
Okay. S-E-R.
So if any of the listeners are interested in it, and this book is about orbs, and for those of you who just tuned in, we were talking about orbs, and I was giving my wonderful insight on it. You know, the big scientist I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
you got a clipboard and a lab coat on right now.
that's it. Yeah, where I was just saying that I don't know what they are. I don't think they're spirits personally. I think they're just some unexplained phenomena. But it's funny that they do show up on the electromagnetic field meters.
That's true.
So what does he have to say about it?
Well, I mean, he pretty much looks at all different kinds of options why it happens, but the thing that interested me the most was that he took photos of all different kinds of looking orbs. Like there's one that looks kind of like a bowling ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's got like a hole in the side of it, and they call those jets.
Jets?
Jets.
Yeah, Jet.
Just like a plane. Okay.
Yeah,
the,
and I mean,
Jamestown.
I've seen those. They seem to show up more on digital cameras.
Yeah,
And-
I've seen some of those.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure that some of these orbs are really created from, ectoplasm or whatever. I think some of these things are just picking up moisture in the air, and it seems that digital cameras can pick those up better for some reason.
Well, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen? I know you've done a lot of paranormal research. Have you ever seen any of the tapes that come off of some of the cameras? Because I mean, I used to work at Circuit City back when I was in high school and in college, and the way we would test our infrared remote controls, we would point them at the video cameras because they could see the infrared light. And it's the same way with these orbs. You can't see it with a naked eye, but I've seen so many of these orbs, fly. I mean, they move erratically and they just flit across the camera screen.
Yeah, now that's totally different.
And
To me, if you're seeing something moving around, it's a whole different thing than if you're just getting blobs of moisture.
Now, Eric Scott, I know you heard him earlier. He's a buddy of mine. Now he's living in D.C., and he's got tapes of this. I'm going to try to get a hold of some of those tapes, and I'll put them up on the website for everybody to look at.
Yeah, have a look-see.
It's some crazy stuff, man. I mean, they just flit around like, in no apparent, there's no straight line.
Just a very erratic
it's
patterns.
Very erratic, and it's going all over the place.
Well, I can tell you of two instances where I saw lights come up out of the ground. One time I was in Sedona, which they've seen tons of these little lights come up out of the ground, and I was with a bunch of friends. We were up by the airport, and you'd think, well, it was something to do with the airport. No, because it was far enough away where there was no such lights coming, around us, and we were all sitting there talking, and all of us saw these. They were little tiny, like little fairy kind of lights, just freaked everybody out.
Yeah, I
can imagine.
They're like, I'm leaving. But
I would.
You'd be the first.
I would be. Go ahead.
I'm out of here.
And then another time I saw the same kind of phenomena come up out of the water.
Oh,
Where was it? Was this the same area?
No, this was a totally different area.
Place. Okay.
And now all of us saw it at the same time.
Huh. Now were you doing any kind of illegal drugs or heavy I'm kidding. Kind of, not really. No.
Hallucinogens.
Exactly. But that's really what did you approach these lights, or did you
flee in terror?
Well, the former the people were freaked out because Sedona is known for UFO activity, and so
That's out west,
live
isn't
out
it?
that way. They as soon as you see anything like that, you freak out, I guess. But
Sedona? That's in California, right?
in Arizona.
Arizona. Okay,
Yeah.
I was close. Yeah,
Yeah, you were close.
Yeah.
close enough. So, and where was the other place that you saw these?
The other one was in Florida, and it was out in the woods, just off of a little pond.
Whereabouts in Florida?
Northwest Florida.
Oh, really? Up near Lake City, or further west?
Like near Pensacola area.
Okay. I just moved back
Yeah,
from Florida.
closer
that's
to
why.
Alabama.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I just moved back from Jacksonville, so that's why I was wondering, because Florida's got some. You get out there, away from the city, even outside of Jacksonville, and you start riding toward Lake City, man. There's nothing out there.
Yeah.
I
Is
mean,
it like
it's
Tyrell
woods.
and Dare
woods
County?
and swamp. Yeah, it's crazy. There's nothing.
Swamp, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you believe they are?
I think there's two different kinds of, like I said, I think it's two different kinds of things. I think that it's some of it's a combination of energy and light refraction, and I think that it's very possible that they're spirits, because spirits, from what I understand, can draw on energy in order to show themselves. The energy around them.
So there's
but,
oh yeah.
Well, go ahead.
So you're saying there's natural and supernatural
Yeah.
possibilities of
Now,
these.
I don't know
phenomenon.
what your theory is or what your belief systems are, and I don't question anybody's, obviously, but I do know. Are you familiar with Lorraine Warren, the Amityville horror psychic?
Mm-hmm.
Lorraine is a very, very devout Roman Catholic lady, and I talked to her about this because I was like, how do you mix the two? How do you mix Catholicism and the whole Judeo-Christian belief system of heaven and hell with
spirits passing on,
being on the earth and staying here
instead of going to, like, say, limbo?
Yeah.
Or,
well, no. That's what she said it was. She said that's what it was. She said it's because these spirits are trapped in limbo.
In purgatory.
Or in purgatory. I mean, yeah. And they're forced to kind of be here on the earth until they can get to that next level. Totally. Now, obviously, a Baptist preacher wouldn't say anything like that.
Yeah.
But it was just really. I mean, it all it all makes sense.
It did.
And I don't know. Like I said, once again, I don't know. I'm not questioning your religious beliefs or asking what they are, but I mean, a lot of people have different, theories and ideas about the thing, and the thing is, no one's really come back to tell us. So, and if they do, I don't want to meet them. Once again, I don't.
Hopefully, they will tell someone
Trent,
else,
and Trent can tell me.
Yeah.
That was a very good interview, by the way. I did listen to it in your archive.
Oh, really? Really? Did you enjoy that? Which one? The first one or the second one?
I don't know which one it was, but she was very sweet.
She's a great lady. I've been meaning to call her to get her back on the show, but the thing is, I haven't talked to her in a couple of years, and I know I talked to Lou Gentili. I talked to Lou Gentili maybe a couple of weeks ago, and Lou was telling me, I don't know, Lou kind of had I don't know, he seemed like to say that I guess they want to be left alone, and I don't know. I know Lou and her used to be really good friends, really close, and I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. Probably with this movie coming out and the re-release of the Amityville Horror, I'm sure they've gotten all kinds of crazy weirdos calling them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sure
Offers and requests.
Oh yeah. But she is a sweet lady. I've never met Ed. I know he's been really down in his health, and she has to give him medication all the time. But they're a really sweet lady. And as far as anybody, I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people over the years with some really wacky stories. And let me tell you, of all the people I've interviewed, she's the one I believe the most. Yeah. I mean, as far as, that person believes what they're saying, and you can talk to them, and you can be right there, with them. You're nodding your head too. I mean, it's
she's convincing.
She's very convincing.
Yeah. So what was once again the name of that book and the author for us about orbs that you have?
It's Spirit Orb Phenomena, Fact or Fiction by Anthony Kevin Sturcombe.
And he's going to be on your show, fullmoonradio.com. When's that going to be?
I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided. But
okay.
All right. Fair enough.
You can buy his book at Amazon.com. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, that sounds
good. A little plug for Anthony.
Sounds like an interesting read,
too.
He
should appreciate that, too,
Yeah. Well, you guys have a nice evening, and I'll listen into more blood-curdling tales.
Well, thank you so much for
Thanks a lot, Zarilla.
Listening, number one. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for calling, Zarilla. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. All right. That was Zarilla. Man, I hate that when it beeps
beep.
like that. Yeah,
well,
okay. Science ain't perfect. Technology ain't perfect.
But it works.
Yeah, it works. It's doing well for us right now.
So, onward.
Okay, here's a great story we've got here, guys. This actually... it kind of relates to something that happened to us, which we're going to tell later. But first, we're going to tell a story. The story, anybody familiar with North Carolina knows about Old Salem. Old Salem was a town founded by
Moravians.
Thank you.
They came from, I want to say they're
German?
They're German. They're from the, those folks that came down from Pennsylvania way back in the day. I want to say that they came during that colonization of the Triad and Western areas of North Carolina. Of course, Highland Scots being the other predominant ethnic group. But back in pre-revolutionary and
back in the day, there used to be two towns. The city of Winston-Salem was actually the city of Winston and the city of Salem, and later they merged. And the city of Salem.
And before that, there was Bethania.
Yeah, there was.
Which actually,
a lot of people that lived in Salem worked in Bethania.
Yeah, Bethania actually was a much older town. I mean, it was like the early 1700s when that was founded.
And you can still go out and see all the
both of these places have been reconstructed and are pretty popular tourist areas. They make great cookies there in Old Salem.
Man, the great cookies.
They make them the old way too, but
And they're thin, little sugar crisps.
I prefer the black walnut ones.
Don't even start talking about this.
Yeah, okay. All right, you're right.
I'm on my diet. I'm losing weight. I've lost 12 pounds so far, man.
Congratulations.
Not that I'm a real fat guy, by the way, people. You can check out the website, blackbookromance.com. See me in action, live video. Okay, I'm a little chunky.
Yeah, 7,000 pounds.
Yeah, right, whatever.
Anyway.
All right.
That's more like my weight.
But anyway, this Old Salem thing, it's a wonderful city. It costs like horrendous amounts of money to live there. It's like stupid, but and they have the covenants built into where they they have to keep their front houses looking pretty.
They have to
lawns a
make
certain
them
way.
look as the time when the Moravians actually lived there.
And it's a beautiful. If you ever get a chance, if you're ever coming through Winston-Salem, North Carolina, please stop. It's near downtown. Stop in and see its cobblestone streets, and they've got the most.
They even have a well, one of those old-fashioned
wells
water
that
pumps
works,
that you
yeah.
pump the water and
right out of the ground.
I mean, it's amazing. And Salem College is there, and of course, one of the better graveyards.
That's what I was going to. God's Acre.
Yeah,
It
one
is
of the
probably
better graveyards.
The most beautiful.
And at the same time, eerily
Creepy,
disturbing.
Man. Oh God, I got a story about that too.
Yeah, well, let's let one story at a time. Actually, let's go with a myth first, and then
Okay.
we'll about the little red man.
And this is just one of the few myths that we found. We're only going to discuss Little Red Man tonight. Little Red Man was basically a story. It was there was a guy, and he was a shoemaker, a cobbler. I
His
guess.
name was Andreas Kremser.
Was that it really?
Yeah,
wow,
Andreas
that's really
Kremser.
good. Right out of
Yeah.
memory. Wow, you're good. Anyway, yeah, I'm looking for the book too. I don't know where I put it. Yeah. So anyway, what happened is basically it's not down there. What happened was it's got to be around here somewhere.
Well, anyway, I'll roll while
You
Scott
roll
searches
with it.
for the
I'm
book.
searching for the book.
Anyway, back in the day, the Moravians were they were a religious community first and foremost. I can't remember what denomination the Moravians followed, but it was it wasn't necessarily like puritanical or Quaker sects, but
Quaker sex. Oh my
SECTS.
God. Oh, sorry, I did it again, didn't I?
Anyway, what they did basically, the young men and the
Hey,
young
we're all
women.
friends, society of friends, guys.
John Fox. Anyway, the unmarried men lived in the brother's house, and the unmarried women lived in the sister's house, I guess. And essentially, Andreas Kremser was an unmarried shoemaker who lived in the brother's house. And
God, you did get that name right. Wow. Yeah.
anyway, so I mean, and now Scott has a book. I guess he'll
I've got the book.
He'll go
yeah.
from there.
He was from Pennsylvania. He was born in March 7th, 1753. And in October of 1766, he came to North Carolina, and he worked in Bethania as a shoemaker. And in February 6th of 1772, he moved to Salem. And then on March 25th, 1786, he was attending some kind of church congregation, and he had been quiet, really, really uncommon for him all days, according to the report.
He was a very, also the reports say that he was a very friendly, affable kind of fellow, a really nice,
Real gregarious.
real gregarious, real friendly. Anyway, go on, Scott.
Well, anyway, he was warned because he was kneeling at his work, and he couldn't see the danger. They were digging.
They basically were expanding the cellar underneath the brother's house.
Yeah. And it was about midnight. A brother that was watching him do this, he saw this bank of land was breaking on him, and he called to him below, and he said, "Hey, man, jump back, brother." You know, basically.
And
I'm paraphrasing, obviously.
I don't think
Yeah. Well, he was covered.
thy
by
life is in danger or whatever. They use these
Thy life
nows.
is in danger, brother. Yeah.
Seriously, they really did use
I know they did.
the archaic form of speech. But go ahead.
Well, anyway, he was basically crushed by this falling earth, and they dug him out as quickly as they could.
And he lived for a little while longer.
He lived
after
for a
that.
little bit, and then he died. Well, the fatal accident at midnight apparently made an impression on the men living in the brother's house. And an unusual sound was heard at night, and it resembled the tapping. Okay, that was a snap.
Of a,
Sorry. Yeah,
yeah.
I can't tap the mic as a condenser. Yeah, there we go. All right. Anyway, it was a tapping sound like a shoemaker's hammer, and someone would always whisper, "There's Kremser." You know, there's Kremser. So it was said that he was a small man of stature, and he always wore a red cap. And when the bank caved in on him, when the bank caved in on him, he was wearing a red cap. And then every now and then, people would hear light steps hurrying through the hallway. And
Up and down the root cellar.
Oh yeah, and occasionally somebody would catch a glimpse of him. And basically, years later, they talked about a deaf child seeing him, and then
Children, apparently. He was very fond of children.
very fond of children. Well, anyway, they talked about two men being in there, and this was, I don't know what year this was. It looks like, from the looks of it, it's probably in the 50s or 60s. But they basically, two men, they try to catch him. Because after they were told, let's see, here we go. Years passed, and stories told by elderly ladies living in the house were received with half a smile, until one day, one of the substantial citizens of Salem showed a visitor through the interesting subcellars of the former brother's house. He told the tradition of the little red man, and suddenly there he was. So they saw him. These two guys saw him, two men, and they decided, hey man, let's catch him. That was real smart, right? Hey Trent, let's catch him. That's like Scooby Doo. Hey, let's split up. You know, look, the evil monster. Let's split up. So, hey, you know, I don't know how much they were drinking that night. It says here that they weren't. Honestly, it actually says here that this man did never drink because I know him as a personal friend. So obviously it's probably in the 50s.
Yeah.
But you know, he grinned at him in the doorway and he took off, and obviously they couldn't catch him.
No.
But no one's seen him since. Actually, that goes on to say that there was a reverend that said he could lay the ghost, and anyway, he did an invocation to the Trinity, and he added the command, "Little red man, go to rest." And ever since that supposed exorcism occurred, no one's ever heard from Little Red Man again.
I remember when we were in like first or second grade. You know, we had obviously all the schools have tours of Old Salem at one point or another, and I remember going down into that root cellar, and of course I can't say that I really saw the Little Red Man or whatever, but I was aware of the story, and you know, in a way it's kind of a creepy place, but you know, it's one of those stories where the spirit isn't necessarily a malevolent one. It's more like a friendly ghost, so to speak. You know, just he was a good person in life, so in beyond life he is still a good person. I like to believe he's still there personally.
Yeah,
but,
well, I mean, you never know. I mean, and this brings us to a story that we had,
which is quite a little less
and I guess
friendly.
This was about midnight when we were kids, man. Now, me and Trent grew up together. I mean, we've known each other since kindergarten, believe it or not.
Yeah,
it's a small town. Anyway, so around midnight, I guess we used to creep around the graveyard in high school. Yeah, it's totally like an arrestable offense for trespassing.
Yeah, they used to have security cops, and you know,
the statute of limitations, I'm sure, is running out.
Yeah, we
so
had some fun, you know, hiding behind those massive tombstones while the spotlights were searching for us. You know,
yeah, we used to play hide and go seek.
But I mean, the cars were around.
Creepy place, man.
They kept the lights down. You know, now they put more spotlights. I mean, not spotlights, but street lights, because
yeah, we're not advising anyone to play hide and go seek in any graveyard.
Yeah,
that is an arrestable offense.
And very dangerous too. I mean,
oh yeah,
especially as old as God's Acre is. I mean, it's unbelievable.
And you know, these tombstones. Well, that was one of the things I want to mention. You know, 1700s. He was buried there in God's Acre, which is the same wonderful place that we used to play hide and go seek at as children.
There are mausoleums too.
Oh, those are creepy, man.
Yeah, they are. They're these old kind of trees hanging above them, and in the light you can see the trees sort of casting their long, creepy shadows over these mausoleums, and you can kind of look inside the doors where you can look in, and you can actually see the vaults where the dead are entombed. And what's really strange, and maybe this is sort of just something I never figured out, but above those mausoleums there are these grates connecting to the mausoleums themselves. I never understood why there were like these open air passageways to
the other,
to crypts basically, and they're locked from the inside and outside. You can't really, you know.
Yeah, well, what we used to do to, you know, get a little scare out of what we would do is we'd say, hey, look in there, man, did you see that? And then, you know, somebody go and, like, Trent would look in there, and then I'd be like, I'd grab him from behind, like, you know, they'd jump, have them to each other back and
pretty
forth.
Juvenile.
Yeah, well, we were kids. But anyway, here's the story.
Yeah, go on.
Trent and I were in Old Salem around midnight. I guess it was around midnight 1. I don't know. I'm thinking midnight. And this would work real good if it was, you know, the sky. But I don't know what house this was. We're going to have to find out. We're going to tell you guys next week, because we're going to research this. We'll go down to Old Salem and find out which house this was.
Yeah.
Do you remember which one it was?
It was it was on the main thoroughfare. I mean,
I don't remember.
Salem College was to our left, and we could, you know, that particular house, that was pretty close to the Brothers' house, because the Brothers' house was one of the bigger ones. That's what I was going to say. I don't remember which one the Brothers' house was. Yeah, it was one of the larger houses in the community. But go ahead.
Well, anyway, we're standing there, and we see this like flicker, like a candle up in the top, like what is it, 2 or 3 story building?
Yeah, it was 2 or 3 story.
I don't remember exactly, but we see this like flicker of like candlelight. And in Old Salem, what they do generally at nighttime is they have the little plug-in candles. They're not real, obviously. It'd be a fire hazard from hell. So what they do is they plug in the candles, and leave them in the window to make.
So
them
give it
like
that sensation of old-timey, candlelit cobblestone streets. But this was the real.
This is a real candle.
It was an actual candle or a
light.
lamp.
Well, we don't know. We never saw a candle, did we?
No, we saw no source of the light.
It looked like candlelight. You know how candlelight flickers, and there's only this one little light in that room. And this is a house that we know for a fact no one lives in. This is one of the houses that the town, I guess the city owns it, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they keep it up for historical purposes. No one lives there. And this was like at midnight. And there's
Doors
this
are locked. No one's
yeah.
inside.
And there's no noise coming out. Well, we didn't hear any noise. We
Yeah,
didn't stick
why in
around
the
that
world?
long either.
No.
But
We stared at it for a while, and
I was
we
like, hey,
didn't
man,
want.
did you see that? And, he comes up and he's like, oh, dude, I do see it. And we're sitting there wondering, and we're talking about it, just like we are now. We're like,
Except maybe not so
Calm.
loud.
yeah. Oh, well,
Maybe
yeah.
like, what's that thing?
Yeah, what is that? Yeah. Oh God, yeah. It was creepy, and because we just got back from the cemetery. yeah. So,
Yeah.
And so we're all these things are already floating through our minds.
The mind was
creeping
already
us out.
racing.
Yeah. But that was that was crazy. That was creepy.
It was definitely a mysterious experience,
And still to this day, we have no idea what that was.
Yeah, not at all. I mean,
Anybody knows? Calls.
if you work in Old Salem, it's like, hey, buddy.
Yeah. Well, give us a call. Any of you guys out there listening, give us a call.
Yeah.
Number's 336-909-1073.
That's right.
336-909-1073. Also,
If you want to talk about any of the subjects that we're talking
Anything.
about tonight, we talked about Bladenboro Vampire Beast. We've talked about the Brown
Red
Mountain
Man.
Lights, the Little Red Man, North Carolina legends,
yeah.
in general, or maybe
any legends from your hometown.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
That'd be great.
we're always interested to hear about these just sort of interesting stories. So if you have one, or if you just want to talk about anything at all,
That's right. And
give us a call.
Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break, and we'll be back in probably about 3-4 minutes.
Okay.
All right, and we'll talk about what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the Macon Lights?
Devil's Tramping Ground. I think that's what we're going to
we
talk
gotta
about.
talk about Devil's Tramping Ground. I forgot about that's a weird thing, but we'll talk about the Devil's Tramping Ground, and we'll talk. Maybe if we have time, we'll talk about Macon Lights. We've only got another 30 minutes left tonight, and just remember, free keychains, worldoftheunexplained@gmail.com.
First 10 emails.
That's right. That first 10 emails gives your name and address, and we'll send you a free keychain. Also, check out Mark Hazelwood's going to be on the show next week, and talking about his new book. And also, once again, that number is 336-909-1073.
Give us a call, guys.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a bit.
Just a little bit. And we're back. World of the Unexplained with Jay Scott and Trent Lackey.
Trent Lackey,
That's
the
Trent.
Terminator, but I don't like that name. That's,
I went with
That's
that.
kinda
quick.
cheesy, man,
Yeah, I
you know?
know it is. I'm sorry. It reminds me of the Shermanator from New
that's really not necessary at all, Scott.
I know. I'm sorry. It's getting late.
Getting close to the midnight hour.
That's right. The
witching
witching hour.
hour.
I don't know. Did you see that movie, Exorcism of Emily Rose? You saw it?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they said the witching hour is like 3 a.m. because it corresponds with
To the Trinity.
of
It's like
God,
it's the reverse of 3 in the afternoon.
I tell you, that's a creepy movie.
It was.
That has to go on my all top 10 list of scary movies, right up there with The Exorcist.
Oh, yeah.
That movie scared the hell out of me. I thought it was great.
It was really good, and there was a certain reality aspect of it as well. You know?
Yeah. I mean, that's what you don't believe in possession, do you?
No, I'm actually a firm believer
I do believe in possession.
I'm somewhat skeptical, if not completely
Usually I'm the skeptic.
against demonic possession. I think human beings are capable of good and evil.
Yeah.
They don't need possession because we can well enough do it ourselves, you know.
It's true. Well, I mean, I've also
we're marked with sin as well as righteousness. So
check out the on the archives. We've got a thing up there for when I interviewed Michael Cuneo about his book American Exorcism: Exorcising Demons in the Land of Plenty. It's really good. It's a great interview. He's set in on over 150 real life exorcisms, and it's a great interview. He's
that's true.
Tremendously talented
and
guy.
Since we're on the subject of the
Devil.
the devil, did I ever tell you
That's a great segue, by the way.
Yeah, actually, it worked out well.
Yeah, well, let me mention something real quick here.
Okay.
Another show plug.
All right.
We've got a new guest. If you check out the upcoming guest page, it's
I'm really excited about this guy.
Oh yeah, Dr. Osama Al-Sadawi, and he basically says he knows who built the pyramids of Giza and how, and he's going to be on there, and it's going to be a crazy show.
I'm really excited about it because I'm a huge fan of
Ancient Egypt.
archaeology. You know, the works and wonders of our predecessors. You know, be it Stonehenge. Easter Island is actually one that I'm kind of getting into here recently. If I had the cash, I'd go visit the place. But, I read Tor Heyerdahl's book. But anyway.
I did too, Kon-Tiki.
Yeah, but he wrote another book called Aku Aku, which is basically his dig site discussing the...
Sorry.
What was that?
That was me pressing a button on the phone. I just wanted to see if we missed
discussing
it.
it, the Easter Islanders. But anyway, I'm a big fan of this whole mysteries of the past. I'm always delving into the past myself.
You've got a great radio voice. I've ever told you that.
Well, thank you. I think you do too.
Well, thank you.
You know.
Smoking, guys. That's what gets it. Smoking.
That's right.
Smoke a pack of cigarettes.
Scott, if you want to be on radio, you gotta smoke a pack a day. Actually, Scott, I'm not that heavy of a smoker though. Only.
Oh God, I am. All right.
Yeah.
That's why mine crackles more than his does.
but all the same, I mean, this Al-Sadawi guy, he basically has a completely, Dr. Al-Sadawi. He has a theory just absolutely, almost diametrically opposed to the current notions of Egyptology as it stands, and it kind of reminds me of Robert Schoch, who also discussed the nature of the Sphinx, discussing that basically it was created a lot sooner than
what it was
than when we speculate it was. But anyway, he'll be coming on the show in a couple of weeks, and he'll be talking about his theory and his books, and I'm just excited. I'm excited for all of our guests. Actually, they're all
we got a keychain request. That's cool.
Very interesting.
Free keychain, first 10.
That's
Now we're
right.
on to
Yeah.
9. So the next 9 that want a keychain, email us up here at worldoftheunexplained@gmail.com, and we'll send you a free keychain.
That's right. First 10. Anyway, back to the devil.
The segue. Yeah, we're talking about.
We're talking about the devil.
And
Old Scratch, as we like to call him.
This is one of the most
Beelzebub.
Prince of Darkness. This is one of the
Mephisto.
Okay, all right, we're done. This is one of the most. This is one of the most popular. Probably the most popular. One of the most popular legends in North Carolina.
Yeah, it really is.
It's called the Devil's Tramping Ground. Go ahead and give us some background on that.
Basically, the Devil's Tramping Ground is located in western Chatham County, 10 miles east of Siler City. Chatham
My dad
County.
was born in Siler City.
Oh, really?
And my family owns about 500 acres in
No
Chatham.
kidding.
Yeah, I'll never see it, but they do. It's on my granddad's
Oh,
side.
right. Anyway, Chatham County is south and east of our present location by about an hour and a half, I guess. I don't know.
There ain't nothing out there.
Yeah, it's just rolling hills. It's still technically the Piedmont, and
Is it?
yeah, technically, I would say probably Raleigh is the dividing line between the actual Piedmont proper and the sandhills / marshes, then the Outer Banks, and then of course where we live in this is the Triad, and then west of the Yadkin River probably would be considered the foothills, and then the mountains proper. But that has nothing to do with what we're talking
I was
about.
going to say, you just tell the story.
Well, I mean, we're Tar Heelers, man. Talk about our state a little bit.
That's it.
Anyway, essentially what the Devil's Tramping Ground is, and this thing has been here since the settlers have arrived in North Carolina. Actually, it's been here when the Native American tribes were still howling and practicing
Look at the moon. Oh, sorry.
their time-honored ancient rituals. Basically it's a circular path about a foot wide. It's a proper circle. The center of the circle has grass in it. Outside the circle has grass in it. Inside the circle itself, there's
no grass.
Nothing.
Nothing. They've even tried to grow it. It doesn't say that.
They've tried to plant
They can't.
things in this circular ring, and it will not grow. Nothing will grow there.
They've tested
rumors
the
have
soil.
said that rumors have said that they would put things on the path, and then the next day they would be kicked off.
Yeah.
And the local townsfolk basically believe that it's where the devil paces around late at night, plotting the ruination and destruction of many a good soul. That's basically what they say it is.
That is what they say.
It's an area of corrupted earth, so to speak. Actually, I was talking to a guy not too long ago. When we met Corey and Therese up there in Burke Street.
Oh, at the pub?
Yeah. There was a guy who actually went down to the Devil's Tramping Ground himself, and apparently there really aren't any kind of directions to this place. You just have to find it. You have to find it from locals, and they'll tell you where it is. And a lot of people go up there. A lot of people won't go out there, but some people go camping and have a good old hootenanny nearby.
Hey, we talked about going down there one Halloween.
That would be great, personally.
Maybe not Halloween. no, yeah, I think we should. I think we should check that out as well as the Macon Light thing. Which
that's true.
We'll talk about that later. But go ahead, yeah. I mean, I think it'll be
anyway,
neat to go and see that circle. Maybe put something in it and see if it's kicked out.
I mean, hunters apparently when they go around the circle, and they always say dogs are very sensitive to the supernatural. And actually, I have a couple of stories involving that, but maybe some other time I'll share them. The dogs are incredibly sensitive to the psychic, immaterial, supernatural energies on the planet, and basically they say when hunting dogs get near this barren circle, they tuck their tails and won't get near it. That's very interesting.
That is interesting.
No one's ever, of course, seen anything on the tramping ground itself, obviously.
No confirmed sightings of any kind of creature or spirit.
No, just basically it's a very mysterious place, and they've done soil samples, and the results have been kind of inconclusive, haven't they?
Yeah.
It seems logical that soil would probably grow things if it should.
I don't remember. I'd read something years ago about the scientific studies where the scientists had actually taken the soil samples. I don't remember exactly what it.
Yeah, they basically mentioned the fact that one theory is that Native Americans would practice rituals there and sort of throw down native roots and plants to create some kind of lighting, shamanistic effect, and basically it kind of tainted the earth around it with some sort of lingering poison, I guess. But I mean that hasn't been done in centuries. So
ages.
Essentially, you would think rain and snow would sort of have leach that soil out.
I mean, eventually all soil's good again. I mean, that's why farmers, they till this area and then they leave it alone for a few years.
And they come back and it's fine,
Yeah.
except in the rainforest apparently. But,
Okay. On that note, 336-909-1073. Give us a call. 336-909-1073.
Talk about anything we've been talking about. Anything you want, really.
Yeah, you got a story, bring it on.
We love them.
Local legend from, it doesn't have to be necessarily from North Carolina. Local legend, bring it on. If you've seen something strange, we definitely want to talk to you. So give us a call. Once again, that number is 336-909-1073. All right, leming right along.
What are we going to... Macon Lights?
Macon Lights, yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Macon Lights.
Yeah, for a little bit.
Yeah.
Lemur team did a
I think Eric...
Eric, was that just Eric doing an investigation of Mako?
No, wait a minute. Yeah, I don't think it was Lemur team. I think it was Eric by himself. Eric and Brett, I think, went down to do... They were going to, and they took their cameras with them. They're going to try to see the light. But, from what we're reading here, I don't think that light's been seen since they cut off the train track.
Which is
we should probably tell the legends.
Yeah, it's very appropriate if that's the case, because apparently Macon Light, Macon, I'm not actually familiar with this town, but I mean, it's down east, just a very interesting place, I think, for supernatural and mysterious occurrences. I mean, okay, apparently in 1867, at the Brunswick County Station of Macon, 15 miles west of Wilmington. Okay, so this is actually pretty close to Bladen County in the Bladenboro Beast.
All this crap.
We're running full
areas.
circle.
What's up with swampy areas in North Carolina?
I don't know, it's I don't know.
That is strange.
A freight train was coming down the track, and the caboose was Joe Baldwin, the flagman. A noise startled him. He was aware that the caboose, of course, the last train on the last car on the train, had become uncoupled from the rest.
Hooked.
Very dangerous.
Yeah.
And it started, rolling back.
This is a nasty story. If you think
Yeah, actually it is. He saw the another passenger train bearing down on him, so he tried to alert the passenger train of the caboose coming out so they could slow down and stop, prevent a horrible accident. But of course, that is not the way of the story. In fact, it was quite tragic and gruesome.
Severed head.
Yeah, he waved his lantern frantically to warn the oncoming engineer of the imminent danger. Of course, it was too late. At a trestle over the swamp, the passenger train plowed into the caboose. Joe was decapitated.
Ugh.
His head shorn clean off. Probably no, of course not.
Okay.
But I mean,
yeah.
The train basically ripped his head.
Gotta clean this place up. This is nasty.
Scott,
sorry.
I'm
Yeah,
breaking the mood. Ripped his head clean off. I mean, not a nice cut. No,
I'm
torn
sure.
off of his
Okay, they get the idea. Good Lord, man.
Anyway.
I feel like we're doing a Monty Python cast.
No.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I'm
anyway.
trying to be graphic about it because that's really what happened. Anyway, his head flew into the swamp on one side of the track, his lantern on the other. It was days before the destruction caused by the wreck was cleared away, and when Joe's head could not be found, the body was buried without it. Usually I heard back in the day, they when that sort of thing happened, they would create like a wax facsimile of a head.
Really?
That's what I've heard.
That's interesting.
Of course, it's a closed casket sort of thing, but just sort of to put a head onto the
it probably goes back to the
trunk.
superstition, with the vampires, sticking garlic in their mouth
Yeah.
and sewing the mouth shut.
Or putting coins on
burying
people's
the head.
eyes to pay the
That's-
ferryman.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a much older thing.
336-909-1073. Call us. Tell us where you're calling from.
Yep.
Get on the line, people. We know you're out there.
On misty nights, his headless ghost appeared at the Macon station, a lantern in his hand. Anyone standing at the trestle first saw an indistinct flicker moving up and down, back and forth. Then the beam swiftly moved forward, growing brighter and brighter as it neared the trestle. And about 50 feet away, it burst into a brilliant, burning radiance. After that, it dimmed, backed away down the track, and disappeared. So essentially, the legend is that Joe Baldwin is looking for his head with his lantern. Trying to find his head.
And that's what because these people have been seeing these mysterious lights near that train track, and it would get closer and closer. Well, it started out really far away. They see this dim light coming, closer and closer and closer, and then right when it got up on him, it got really, really bright all of a sudden like a flash, and it was gone. And, like I said, I think after they discontinued the use of that track and cut off access to it, from what I understand, now I may be wrong, but from what I understand is no one's seen that happen since.
Well, maybe if it is a ghost, then ghosts are sort of like people. We're creatures of habit, and especially when your life is stopped abruptly like that, you are recreating that habit right up until that point. And maybe with the train tracks gone, the spirit is somewhat lost.
Maybe so. I don't know. Like I said, I don't purport to know anything about
That's true.
that.
I mean, that's my own personal
own
dime
belief.
store theory about it. Well, what is it then?
Well, what I believe. I'm not going to go, mine as well. Yeah, I follow the basic, Christian tenets. I believe, you die, you go to heaven, you go to hell, and
There are no
that's
spirits.
it. Well, I didn't say that. I mean, if there are, I read an interesting book. This would be a great guy to have on the show, if he's still out there. I can't remember his name. I'll find the book.
That's great, Scott.
And I don't even know if the guy's still alive. But this book was written years ago. He was a psychiatrist, practicing psychiatrist, and he was in the army, and basically had this after this death. What do they call it? The after
Near-death experience.
Thank you, near-death experience. He was actually dead for like 4 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And he tells the story of Christ actually entering his room, and he was seeing the light and feeling the love and seeing his life flash before his eyes. And he goes on to tell about like the first level of hell. Like, he was shown the levels of hell and part of the levels of heaven. One of the levels of heaven, interestingly enough, was based like a university kind of thing with a lot of people learning and doing different things. But one of the levels of hell, which ties into what I was talking about, was these people that were spirits on the earth, and what they would do is they'd follow their loved ones around, and they'd try to talk to them and try to tell them stuff, and they couldn't, do it. They couldn't communicate with them. And one of the things that the alcoholics would follow around and hang out in bars, and the spirits, the dead alcoholics, and when they saw somebody drinking a drink and get drunk and pass out, they would jump in their body momentarily to get that feeling, and before they were kicked out again. Creepy, huh? The thing is, it's creepy. And this guy told the whoever, I don't know, whoever licenses psychiatrists, I guess some kind of medical board, in his state, he told them this whole story. This happened to him when he was in the army. He had bronchitis. It turned into pneumonia, and that's what basically killed him for a little bit. But and then he talks about later in the book how he comes back to these places he had never been before, but that he had saw that night, and they were actually there in towns he had never ever visited. I mean, it's creepy, dude. It's a really great book.
That is kind of interesting. I'd love to get that.
I'm gonna have to find the book. I've got it somewhere in one of the thousands of books that are around here. But yeah, I'd love to have him on the show. That would be a really good show. But anyway, that's the way I believe. It's a Christian thing. I mean, I was raised that way, and people say, you're gonna believe the way you were raised. I don't buy that. Yeah, maybe sometime, but you get feelings about certain things, and that's the way I feel.
Oh, okay. So basically, you think there's probably a rational scientific explanation for the Macon lights, or do you think maybe?
I don't know.
I say, well, this goes back to
It could be quartz in the. I mean, honestly,
compressed
there
quartz
could be-
creating ball lightning effects.
Yeah, I mean,
and ball lightning is a really interesting phenomenon.
and it's very rare.
Yes, it is. I mean, another thing is, swamps are often very, because of all the
There's a lot of
decomposing,
gas, yeah.
the decomposing material in swamps kind of creates an awful lot of what's called the marsh gas, and that's what you get the effect of the.
And it smells great.
Yeah, it smells like death.
Yeah.
Basically, I don't say that. I'm kind of fond of the swamps anyway. But the will-o'-the-wisps,
Oh yeah.
the ghost lanterns and whatnot, and maybe this Macon Light is, and of course it's in Brunswick County, which of course we've explained earlier in the show. It was a marshy, swampy area,
Oh yes.
and essentially maybe it's just a recurring effect of marsh gas.
It could be. I mean, it could be a number of things.
Or it could be the ghost of Joe Baldwin.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or it could be the ghost of Joe Baldwin. Who knows? We'll know one day.
I reckon we will. One of those questions.
Once again, the number is 336-909-1073. That's 336-909-1073. Call us up. We've got,
Absolutely, give us a call.
8 minutes left, and I know in 8 minutes we can squeeze something out of somebody here.
That's right.
But just real quick, I want to talk about some of the upcoming guests we have next Monday night from 10 to 12. It's our temporary hours until after this whole thing in my evil life's over. Our new temporary hours until I think February 13th, maybe something like that. I think it's February 13th. Jerry E. Smith's coming on then. But until then, our hours are going to be 10 to 12, and I just want everybody to know that I'll go to the website right now actually. I want everybody to know that some of the guests that are coming up. I know one of the guests is Mark Hazelwood. He's going to be here
Next week.
Monday from 10 to 12. And Mark is just a phenomenal guy. I mean, to hear this guy talk and to hear some of the theories and some of the things that he's seen, and it's just amazing. He's a great guest. I want everybody to call in because you're going to want to call in. Once you hear this guy, you're going to be like, oh my God. He's here. He's going to discuss his new book, Planet X, the Delicate Earth. He wrote Blindsided Planet X back in 2002, I think. But he's coming back to the show. And then on February the 13th, 2006, we have Jerry E. Smith, author of over 40 books. We're going to talk to him about HARP technology. You familiar with that?
No, it's some kind of government-inspired weather control technology. I've heard about it. They say they have stations out in Alaska or someplace like that.
He's got pictures of them in his first book. But the second hour, he's going to talk about his book, Secrets of the Holy Lance. February 27th.
A little bit of political theory going on.
Oh, yeah. 27th, we got Jim Mars, world-renowned JFK assassination expert. And he's going to talk about that for the first hour.
That's something that's kind of near and dear to your heart. You're very fond of the JFK assassination.
It's because it was a conspiracy, man.
Well, I mean, it's evidence seems to point that way, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, and he's also going to talk about 9/11. That's his new book, The World and Freedom: 9/11 Conspiracies, where he's going to talk about he thinks the government did it. Who knows?
Well, let's hear him out.
Then on the March 6th, we have Dr. Sally Ryan Feather, who is related to
J.B. Ryan.
J.B. Ryan.
Of the Ryan Research Center, one of the foremost parapsychology institutes in the world. It's located in...
That was her father.
Durham. Oh, really?
Yeah, that was her father. It used to be a part of Duke University. They separated a few years ago.
Divided, but I mean, it's a really interesting place. Scott and I went down there.
When Dr. Broughton was the director.
Yeah, Richard Broughton, and
he's in Scotland now.
Yeah, he was a very interesting fellow, and they have all kinds of tests. They have the cards.
He has ESP, and I don't. That's what we found.
No, it wasn't ESP. It was like telekinesis or something.
He has telekinesis.
I can bend spoons apparently if I concentrate.
With his mind.
It was a weird. Okay, look, it was kind of like a computer simulated test, and all the things down there at the Ryan Research Center.
On DOS too. I mean, this is back in the day.
They're very scientific. They're very clinical about things, and so these tests basically are designed to sort of test various aspects of your psychic ability, and they have some pretty
neat stuff,
neat and also elaborate theories. Concerning these things. I mean, they're very scientific. They're very on the ball about it.
No, her co-author. This is going to be interesting because
Yeah.
she's in Durham and he's in Honolulu. I think
Home
is
of
where it
Magnum
is.
PI.
Yeah, basically. But he's in Hawaii and she's in Durham, and we're going to try to patch both of these people in, and we'll be able to, I think.
Yeah.
We're trying to patch both of these people in, and your calls, and that's going to be really crazy. But they're going to be here on the 6th. His name's Michael Schmicker, and he's a co-author of the book. The book's called The Gift, ESP, Extraordinary Experiences of Ordinary People. And then our new guest that we talked about earlier in the show, I'm sorry, no, I skipped one. We've got Mr. Oliver Williams.
Oh my gosh, Oliver Williams.
This is going to be a great show.
Yeah.
Time travel, John Titor website. That's johntitor.com for you guys who want to check it out. John Titor claims to have been a time traveler that visited the United States back in just a few years ago, and he claimed that we were going to have a civil war and all kinds of stuff, and then he disappeared. He appeared on these chat rooms and stuff. And anyway, Oliver Williams doesn't know him, but Oliver Williams
compiled the information
compiled it all and made it easily accessible. Oh yes. And then the guy we talked about earlier, Osama Al-Sadawi, Dr. Al-Sadawi, discusses his findings of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. And, we talked about it earlier.
Yeah. So, Scott, we only have a few minutes of the show left.
That's true.
What, a little synopsis of our discussion tonight about North Carolina legends. Anything you want to say about it?
There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, and?
I want to know if anybody out there knows emails. I want to know if anybody knows where this house is. This house of the supposed girl at the bridge. I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
That's true.
I do. I want to know that. That's all I have to say, I guess.
Well, I mean, every legend is sort of near and dear to our hearts. I think North Carolina is a very rich place with myths and legends. I guess, I don't know. I guess that every state has a whole number of myths and legends. I guess it's because we're native Tar Heelers, and we've grown up here all our lives, and we've sort of been immersed in the culture and the legends.
Oh yeah.
That it's there's so many interesting things, and of course the book that we're using tonight, and actually there are a few other websites, North Carolina Legends by Richard Walser. That's a really good, simple book that has a vast number of short synopses of various myths and legends. Of course, there's a number of books on the topic. I personally like Ghost Tales of the Uwaris, which Fred T. Morgan, I think that's the name of the author, is one of. It's got these kind of old timey kind of woodcuts, like not like Albrecht Dürer, isn't that the guy's name?
Albrecht Dürer.
Yeah. I don't speak German, so
I don't either.
I may have the accent wrong, but I mean, it's got all these very neat woodcuts in it, and I don't know, very charming, classy books, I think, and I don't know.
Well, I'm right now. I'm on the Weekly World News online website. I thought this was fun. I thought about it'd be something fun to talk about on the show. Let's look under sex and see what they've got here. Okay, Satan's supermodels.
Oh my gosh!
Envious of those flawlessly beautiful supermodels who get paid a fortune to flaunt their fabulous figures in designer clothes. Oh, sorry.
That's really not on topic, is it?
No, it's not. But alien and UFO sightings, here we go. Aliens claim Jacko is their son. An alien couple who claim to be Michael Jackson's real parents
Scott
are suing Earth for full custody of him, says a man.
Suing the planet Earth.
Says a man who claims to be an attorney for the extraterrestrials.
Wait a minute. How do you sue the planet Earth?
I don't know. This
do you sue the planet?
Case.
Do you sue the representatives of the governments of Earth?
I'm assuming it would take place in U.S. District Court. But
I would say the UN or something where the world is involved.
There's a really great case.
The World Court, perhaps.
There's a really great case.
Oh, this is good.
And it's a guy tried to sue Satan years ago, and the court made it. It's funny. We had to read this in law school, and it's funny because he's like, well, first of all, we don't know how we would obtain jurisdiction over the defendant for one thing, because where will we find him at? Hell, I mean, it was a question mark. But not only that, but does the court even have the have the authority to rule on something like that? But the guy sued Satan because he was basically made his life bad. So, anyway, that's all we've got time for. Trent,
unfortunately.
It's midnight. The Riching Hour, one of them anyway. You got any parting words?
I say...
Cue up the thingy there.
Okay.
Track 2. Yeah, we're going to get better at this, I promise. But, yeah.
I say that, check out some books. Look at them. Read them. Get involved in your local history. Get involved in some things, and give us some emails about them. We're always big fans of those myths and legends. So Until next time, guys.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
That's right. This is Trent Lackey.
This is Jay Scott.
All right, we'll
World the Unexplained.
World the Unexplained.
And we will see you guys next week at 10. We'll have Mark Hazelwood on
Yeah,
the
it's going to be a
show.
blast. See you then.
Later.